Hello everybody, hope you all are doing good out there. We've got a really cool knife to look at in this video. You'll have to excuse my voice, I'm getting over a cold of some sort. So if I have to cut out in a minute, that's because I've had a coughing spell. Nevertheless, we do have a really nice knife to look at. I went down to the pawn shop. I love to look for knives at pawn shops, because you can find some of the coolest knives down there. And I love to buy used knives and clean them up. I'd rather buy a used knife any day over a new one myself, because I enjoy cleaning them up. And most of my knives are users. They're using knives. I don't usually just buy a knife to collect. I have a very few that I don't go right out and use. Well, I found 3 knives and got one of them for a friend of mine who likes that kind of knife. I'll do another video on that. But it's a German eye knife, and found that, but did a bundle with 3 different knives, got a real good deal. And the knife we're going to look at today, when I saw this knife, I got so excited. So here's the big reveal. Here we go. It's a Case red bone. Now this is a different red bone. I don't have any Case knives with this particular red bone, but you can see it's just a beautiful, almost like a strawberry color. You can see some white and some orange color. It's showing up more white in real life than orange. There we can see our back springs. Now I have buffed this knife and cleaned this knife up. This knife has never been used, but it's set around for a while. Look how beautiful that bone is. See the bolsters? You can see them shining. There you can wave in the left bolster. Got the pins gleaming. Got that bone. Look how luscious the bone looks. I think that's a good way to describe it. Excuse me. In my opinion, there is no company that can make bone knives like Case can. Case's bone is so deep, and it's a deep, lush color, if you know what I mean. It's saturated. Some of the other companies, the bone just to me leaves a lot to be desired. Hen and Rooster is a good example. I've looked at some of Hen and Rooster's newer knives, and their jigging is just, it's sad in my opinion. But Case, we can argue about the steel and other aspects, but in my opinion, they make the prettiest knife. Now, when I saw this knife, saw the handle on it, and so on, I saw that it was an 087 pattern. I thought, I wonder how much it was. When I saw the price, it was $40. And after bargaining, I got it for a little cheaper than that because I did a bundle. I don't know exactly what it worked out to, but I got it for a little under 40. But that was the first thing to note. But when I picked this knife up to look at the blades, when I opened up this blade right here, I got excited. And you can see why. This is actually a chrome vanadium knife. This is a carbon steel knife. Now that is exciting. Case hasn't made their chrome vanadium for a while. And it's harder to find a Case knife with bone handles and carbon steel blades. A lot of their carbon steel knives are their classic yellow color. But this one, as you can see, it's got the carbon steel blades in the red bone handle. Also, if you look at these blades, you can see this blade has never been used. I have buffed it and sharpened it now since I got it home because it needed some sharpening, but it's not been used. Now, your main blade, your clip blade, I better pull it out first. Got good snap. Here's the blade. Now I want to give y'all a tip. When y'all are looking at a used chrome vanadium knife, a lot of times they're going to have these little like pepper spots. Okay, what you want to check is whether this is down in the metal, whether it has ate away of the metal, or whether it's resting on top of the metal. And the way to do that is just run your finger over it. And if you can feel the little spots on the steel, then it's ate into the metal. And this particular knife is just how I like to see it. This is just on the surface. You cannot feel them at all with your finger or your fingernail. It's just a patina spots. And once I use this knife, and I'm going to use this knife after I eat a few apples like I like to do, this knife will develop a patina and will cover over all these spots, and it will be just a nice, even gray color. So yeah, if you're looking at one of these CV knives, don't let a few patina spots like that deter you. Now, if they're a deep rust spot, then that's a different scenario. But like this one, it's not. Has great snap too. Your secondary blade on the 087 is a spade blade instead of a sheep's foot blade. You can see there it says 63087 CV for chrome vanadium. Now again, you can see there are a few spots on this blade, just a few, but again, I can't feel any of them with my fingernail. They're all just on the very surface, and they'll all be blend right in with the patina, and you have a little rub mark right there, but that don't bother me on a Stockman. It's beautiful, beautiful blade. It's a beautiful knife. We'll compare it to a few others here in just a minute. And then we already looked at our little pin blade. Let's compare this knife to a few others. Let's weigh it first. Better not forget to weigh it. Bring the old scale in here. This little 63087 weighs 1.80 ounces. And let's do a quick measurement. Show you the size of it. It's a little smaller than an 18 Stockman. It is 3 1/4 inches roughly 3 1/4 long. And your main blade, the cutting edge itself, is going to come in right at just over 2 1/8, just a speck over 2 1/8. So this is a good carry size. It's big enough, as you can see. I wear a large size glove, fit the hand well. The blade's good size. You can extend your finger and it's comfortable if you're wanting to use your finger like a depth gauge when cutting into a box. And I love that red bone Case has there. And you add in that carbon steel blade, which is going to get a nice patina on it. And you've got a really neat knife. But let's compare it to a few other knives out there. We'll compare the main blade. The first one I do want to compare it to is this knife. This is an 087, but it's an 82087. The 8 referring to the mother pearl handles, the 2 to the fact that this is a pin knife, where this red one here is a Stockman. So on a pin knife, you're going to have your 2 blades. You got your main clip, and you've got your secondary pin. On the Stockman, you get your main clip, your secondary pin, and your spade blade. So you're getting an extra blade on the Stockman. I like Stockmans. Stockmans are one of my favorite styles of knife. They also make a jackknife version out there called the medium jack. It's also, usually it's got a black synthetic handle, and it's normally the 22087. So these two are going to be identical, except for one's a 2-blade and one's a 3-bladed knife. Another one we might compare it to would be this 18 pattern Stockman. Y'all know I like the 18 pattern. It was one of them knives I didn't like first few times I saw it, but after having one, I've really grown to like it. It's a very similar knife, but you can see it's just a little longer. The handle itself is a little bit longer, and the blade itself is a little longer. It's also a little heftier in the pocket. They normally weigh somewhere around 2.35 to 2.40, depending on the handle material, which is a lot heavier than 1.80, like this 075 come in at. The other difference is the blade setup. On the 18 pattern, your secondary blade is a sheep's foot, and your third blade is going to be an spade blade, where on this 087, your secondary blade is the spade blade, and your third blade is a pin blade. So the setup is a speck different, which is kind of interesting. A few other knives that might be interesting to compare. We'll compare the 032. Now this one is also one of these chrome vanadium knives, and you can see kind of how the patina has blended in on this knife. That's what this knife will look like after it's used for a while. This blade will look excuse me. This blade will look just like this one does. Here's another example of a chrome vanadium blade. This This knife I've used for a lot of things, but I cut some potatoes with it, and you can see it's got just a nice dark even patina. So this knife blade will look like them after I use it a little bit. Now for the last few years, Case has not made a lot of these 087 Stockmans. This is the model that they have made the most. And this is the same model knife. This one's from the year 2000. But this knife has the brown synthetic handles, stainless steel blades, and has what's known as an as-ground finish. So you can see they do look a little bit different. But other than that, it is the same knife. But yeah, this red bone knife, this is what I'm going to use. It's going to get patinaed up, and I'm going to carry it and enjoy it. It's a light knife, feels good in the hand. It's a great pocket dropper. Just throw it in your pocket, and you got a good knife when you need it. I've got it just razor sharp. That chrome vanadium steel is so easy to sharpen. I can shave with it, no problem at all. But yeah, this is just a beautiful little knife, and I just wanted to share it to y'all. I would have waited till I wasn't sick, so I sounded a little better. But nevertheless, I was kind of excited, and I couldn't really wait. I wanted to go ahead and show y'all what I picked up recently down at the pawn shop, and it's just a beautiful knife. I do need to compare it to some of Case's other red before I forget. So this is Case's pocket Warren red. They call it their old red Warren bone, and I've got a few of these knives, and I really like these knives. These are in stainless, and they have mirror polished blade to them. But you can see the color is darker. The color is darker on these, and it's a pocket Warren color. That means that after they get it done, they've sanded it a little more. So that's kind of interesting. So they're a little smoother. And the other thing is, this is what's known as a corncob jig, where this red 087 that we just picked up, this one has what's known as a peach seed jig. So they have a different kind and style of jigging in them. So that's pretty interesting. And again, this is an 18. This is an 087. So you can see there is a considerable size difference between these two. Y'all let me know what you think of the 087 pattern, and what do you think of this one right here. Also, which kind of patina do you prefer? Which kind of fruits or vegetables, or meats even, do you think give the best patina? Next time y'all see this knife, it'll probably have developed quite a bit of a patina, because I use my knife when I'm eating apples and cutting onions or whatever I'm doing. I'll pull out my pocket knife, use it. I keep it clean, of course, but they're meant to use and meant to enjoy. That's what all the people used to do with their knives. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for watching, and keep your knives sharp.